One of the most key misperceptions that most people have of the golf swing is the actual shape of the golf swing. In fact, I bet when most people watch that shot that I just hit there, they're seeing that all kind of functioning on what we would call a plane, or the things that are commonly referred to in the golf swing as like a tilted circle or something like that. And without a doubt, it certainly looks like that to our eyes. But what we can't see oftentimes hurts us. And what's missing from our interpretation or our correct understanding of a golf swing is that the shape is not a tilted circle. It's not a tilted oval. It's actually what is called a logarithmic spiral. And that actually creates the illusion that we see as swing plane and as we see as actually creating all the functions and the body movements of an elite player. So let me explain. If I take away the rigidity of the golf club, I'm going to be able to see what's actually hidden, and then I'm going to tell you how that actually goes back into functioning with the golf club and why we see certain shapes in the golf swing. But the first understanding is, if I use my training aid, the Pro here, where I don't have a shaft, if I start to work this outwards towards striking that pad, and especially if I can keep all the components of the Pro in alignment, what we start to create here is a logarithmic spiral. It's a snail shape that goes from close to your center and continues to exponentially grow. The farther it curves away from you, and the faster it's actually going. That is the principle of understanding club head speed. That is the function of a golf swing. That is what is hidden. That unfortunately is not what's taught. But if you understand that first, then all the body movements that people teach actually would make a lot more sense. You just have to learn, you want to do it in the right order. So once I have a good sense of what that logarithmic spiral is, and especially if I can do this with mastery of my Pro, I have a different sense of the way that my body moves. I don't get lost in this idea that I have to kind of shift my body weight and catch the club up and I have to make all these kind of forced rotations happen. They actually happen fairly what feels passively. Now, the golf club is a different animal. The golf club cannot curve all the way into your body. And so this is why we're going to see a lot of variance in tour pros in the way that they allow this logarithmic spiral to work for them. But the main key is that the logarithmic spiral in the golf swing, if I go from here, most of us think the backswing is over here, but really it's not. It's the curvature when it comes back in. Now, while this is happening, if you're an elite swing, other body parts have already predicted what's coming. And so we start to see the illusion that the hips are spinning and there's all these things that you need to do. But those things were learned later. As long as I learn to allow the golf club to come in, now I can get this thing to actually not just look like it's on a path that is on plane, but I actually can sense the depth of it. So as it continues to grow in its reach from my body, it actually starts to accelerate more and more. And that is exactly what your golf swing is. It's a dance with a logarithmic spiral. It is not a tilted circle.